Okay. He's in the Discord. Let's move him in. Move to this room. Hello.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Okay. How are you?
Pretty good. About as good as I've been since I lost my YouTube a couple weeks ago, actually. Things are starting to look
First
up. So.
time?
First time.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. Sucks. What'd you get banned for? I saw it was harassment or something.
Yeah, it was the harassment policy. I'm not totally sure what it was. I think I could talk about it more after. I'm trying to keep it like close to the vest. I think it was like a mistake from like a video that got uploaded. I think it was like
yourself?
Well, no. What I think happened was I can't talk about it too much. But yeah, I think it was like a video that mistakenly got uploaded a couple times and had like a violation in it, but it's not like me violating something. It's like something that happened on the screen. Then I basically denounce it, and I think just their whatever the
AI
yeah, it was just like, no, this is really bad, and yeah, so it counted as like multiple strikes, and yeah, it is what it is.
So you'll probably get unbanned.
I think so. I talked to some people who were like very experienced, and they said like, yeah, I'm pretty confident you'll get unbanned for this eventually. Yeah, so hopefully it works out. You never know though, because like I'm a small channel, and they could easily just look at some of the other content, which is like I have quite a bit of content that's probably pretty close to the line. They could look at the rest of it and just say like, yeah, screw this guy. So you never know.
The first time I got banned, I appealed twice and got rejected, and then 4 months later, they just randomly unbanned me. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you never know.
And then, so have you been? How many times have you been terminated before? I think you were terminated this last time, but did you know? There's like they could have you banned, and then there's like the straight up termination. You're gone, right?
What? Oh, I don't know. There's a difference.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the same thing. Oh, I'm probably just thinking of strikes. I'm thinking of like strikes, like temporary bans.
Oh no. Yeah, we have removed your channel from YouTube 4 times now.
Oh Jesus, yeah, that's rough.
The last one's for child safety. It's tough. That's a tough one. That's a tough rap to beat.
Yeah, I've got a guy in my Discord who's having something similar happen where he was like he's just trying to have I don't know if he's a fan of yours. Like he struck me as somebody who was like trying to be honest about some like experiences he's had earlier in his life where like I think he was in a rural area and he met this girl when they were like both younger, and then I think they ended up hooking up when he was 20 and she was 17. But then he told this story, and now everybody just calls him a pedophile. And it's like, because he met the girl when she was like 14 or something, and he was 17, I think. And so they're like, oh, you're a groomer. It's like, bro, I don't know. It's weird when like people, I don't know. It seems to me like sometimes people just need to get in a mob on others to like make themselves feel safe.
I said a bunch of 11-year-olds were hot, and then I made a song about it. So I don't.
It's not quite the same thing.
It's a little different. The chat's saying that I'm quiet. I don't know if you.
I turned you up a little bit because I was looking at the levels and you seem quiet. I'm turning you up a little more too. Let me see this. Just say whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Thank you. I think that looks better. That looks good to me. We'll see if anybody's going to keep complaining about it.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, so I messaged you. I sent you my tweet, right? I should pull it up on screen for people. I had like a pretty over the line tweet. I think we're talking about the same thing, right? The Valorant drama, the Valorant like rape threats.
Yeah, the rape threat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a tweet that was a little over the line. Find that.
You said she's asking for it.
I did. Unfortunately, this picture does not have other stuff here. So there's this picture. This tweet, and unfortunately, when you get quote tweeted, this is what people see, right? And then I have a reply under this that says, like, obviously, rape threats aren't okay. I don't wish for her to get raped, but like, I think she deserves to get banned. But I didn't have it in the main tweet, So everybody like quote tweets me.
Well,
And the
yeah,
funny
I don't think you should do that. I think you should just you gotta hit him with the hot sauce if that's what you want to do. You can't say no. There's a little cup of milk below this tweet. Just drink that. That's not. You shouldn't do that.
No?
I don't think so. I think you gotta give it to him straight. Like you're trying. See, this is what I was saying in my tweet about it. I was saying that you're intentionally triggering people, and then you're like trying to walk it back at the same time. So you want all the benefits of people saying, "Oh, he just said this really offensive thing," but then you want to be like, "But seriously, folks, rape is bad."
Sure. So I wanted to say, so what I'm trying to say there is she was asking for it,
Yeah.
as in she was asking for something to happen, which I think is unequivocally true. She wanted
Yeah.
something like bad to happen. I like fully stand behind that. Now, could she have any idea that it was going to be like a rape threat, or like specifically that kind of rape threat that sort of like slow played it until she was, you know, kind of overwhelmed? No,
Yeah.
obviously not. And that doesn't make it okay. But I don't know if you saw some of the other clips from the stream. I've actually got the whole stream now. And like she is
She wanted
explicitly stating that she unmuted him, so she had him muted. He was being, I think, slightly sexist. It's kind of up to interpretation. So she makes a call in the first round of the game. The guy immediately goes, "Oh fuck," and like, so you could debate whether that's because she's got a female voice or there's something else.
I mean, we can assume it's because she's a female.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair.
Okay.
So she immediately mutes him, right? And then she unmutes him multiple times throughout the match in order to, like, I guess, I don't know, it seems like for content. Or actually, she unmutes him once. Could turn Mrgirl up more? Okay, hold on.
I could turn myself up too if you want.
Yeah, do you want to turn yourself up a little bit? I got you up quite a bit.
Yeah, sure. Hey. This is my murmur. I think I peak if I get excited, so I gotta ride the line here because I'm gonna freak out at some point during this conversation. I can already tell. So
Yeah.
I'll ride the gain and I'll take care of it. I got you.
We'll I'll turn you up just a little bit too.
Okay.
I think that should be good.
Cool.
Okay. So anyway, so she unmutes him. She's also tilted going into the game. Like she was already tilted. She talked about at the beginning of the stream, which is about an hour before this happened, how she just deranked and she was like on tilt basically. So she's already a little tilted going into the game. And round one, like she mutes the guy when she makes the call and he's an asshole. And then she gets killed like almost immediately. And how do we have a face already? Because we knew this was going to happen. Irrelevant. And Wolfgang is a magician.
Damn. Hey, Irrelevant. All these people are here. That's crazy. You guys are all on Kick.
Well, Relly is. Relly and Darius did a lot of content on Kick together because Darius can't be on Twitch. So I think Relly by osmosis ended up going over to Kick and recently there. So hold on. I was at the. So she mutes him. And then after she gets killed, she goes, "Oh, you know, fuck it. I'm gonna unmute this guy for the content because I think we lost anyway." And she unmutes him, right?
Yeah.
And then so basically, then after that, he's a little sexist on and off. He's just being an asshole, and she's bantering back and forth with him. And then like they're continued to lose, continue to banter back and forth, and then eventually, it gets to that point. Not that far later, I think 2 or 3 rounds later is where it gets to the actual like, do you know what rape feels like comment?
Okay, when you say they bantered back and forth, was she like, "I'm gonna rape you, you fucking"?
Nope, nothing
bitch,
at that scale. Nope.
Okay,
she obviously didn't escalate to that scale since that's about as high as it gets for a woman in a video game.
Did she escalate?
She didn't escalate to that level. It was like completely disproportionate.
What's the word? Okay, so we don't have to. So
no,
you're not arguing.
No. I'm not arguing that it was a proportionate response or that his actions were okay.
But you think rape is okay? No. So your argument is that she entrapped him.
Nope. Not even entrapped him. My argument is basically that she was walking down the street and she saw a homeless drug addict who was like out of his mind and ranting at people. And instead of crossing the street, which is maintaining the mute or muting and then maintaining the mute, she was like, "Oh, I'm bored, so I'm actually going to walk over and start talking to this guy, and then start like
gonna punch me in the face,
making fun of him." And then, well, no, she didn't know that, but I Obviously, she didn't know that.
Well, but she wanted him to.
Nope, she didn't want him to. She wanted to have something exciting happen. She knew, so she
Well,
had
that's the
probably
most. A
some.
man threatening to rape you is the most exciting thing. So,
That's not my point.
I mean, what do you think? I
Obviously,
mean, that, okay, you don't think she wanted him to say something like that?
I think she wanted him to be an asshole, be a sexist asshole that she could laugh about, and then I think the rape comment actually triggered her into to like being quite upset and leaving the game. But I think she
Uh,
was looking for him to be a
this
misogynist
is weird. I
asshole
feel like
to
we're
her.
reversing positions. I think that she wanted him to say that.
We are kind of reversing positions.
Yeah, because
I
she
don't.
got the response she wanted, and then left the game, put it on Twitter, and then got the exact thing she wanted, which is like 100,000 likes and quote tweets and everything. Us talking about it. This is what she wanted.
Okay, is that I can't tell if you're making fun of me or if you're being
I'm
serious right
not
now.
making fun of you.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I believe you. So
Thank you.
I don't think so because I got the full stream in the full resolution, and I do
Okay.
believe she's about to cry when she leaves. Like I think she flips her screen off
Oh,
because she is. I think you can't really see it at the resolution of the clip, but when you see it in full screen, like in HD, I guess it seems to me like she probably is about to cry. So I don't know. I don't know if she. I think she was already emotional trading barbs back and forth with them. You know how you can like. It's not necessarily that you're feeling like distraught, but like you just get emotional. I think this happens to I don't know what this feels like. I think this happens to women more than men, where they just get emotional, like angry and upset, and then
yeah.
that's like starting to do tears. So I think that's kind of what was happening, and she just killed the stream. So I don't know if like I think she wanted something to happen, something disproportionate from him, and yeah, probably for clout, for funniness, for content. But I don't know if she actually wanted him to go that far.
Okay. So your position is she wanted him to say something that she could clip and say this guy is such an abusive asshole, but then he said something went over the line of what she was comfortable with. He actually successfully trolled her. She thought that he was gonna just say some,
Go back to the
mean stuff.
kitchen, stupid
Yeah,
bitch,
yeah,
shit
make me
like
a
that.
sandwich. But then he actually genuinely triggered her.
I believe so. Is my
Okay.
interpretation.
Okay. I think I agree with you. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. So we we have that, and
Yeah.
then we have what does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean? So when I say, well, I'll just go back to my tweet because I want to kind of defend what my tweet was trying to say. Was like she
Okay.
was asking for it, as in to me it seemed like the drug addict, right? Where like she was asking for something exciting to happen. She was like bored.
Mm-hmm.
She went to go fuck with this guy, and then he pulled out a knife and stabbed her in the hip, right? And it's like, okay, well, she obviously doesn't deserve to get stabbed. Like I would never make that argument. And yet, like I have a hard time feeling quite as sorry for her as I would if it had just happened out of the blue. Which I think is pretty reasonable. And that was what I was like. I was trying to do it in two parts, and yes, probably talking to both sides of my mouth, get to say the offensive thing, and then wheel it back to something somewhat
Yeah.
reasonable. Sure, I actually that was absolutely what I was trying to do to get
Okay.
conversations.
To get conversations.
I think like my goal was basically I was hoping I could get a couple people to join VC and like basically be like you're a crazy fuck, and then I could make this argument.
So
But
then
what
you can
actually
walk it
happened?
back.
Yeah, walk it back a little bit, make it seem
Okay.
like less insane. I've seen this strategy deployed by other people. Okay, to somewhat good effect.
Yeah, I think we all have.
Okay, so that was what I was going for. But then what ended up happening was I just got a bunch of quote tweets where people are like, "So you're just a rapist then?" She was asking for it. Oh, you're just a rapist then. You just enjoy rape. You just are a rape enjoyer. You love rape. I was like, no. But you know what? I feel like once I've gotten 20 quote tweets like that, it's probably me communicating poorly and not everybody else misunderstanding. So I deleted the
I
tweet.
don't think they're misunderstanding. That's the joke, is that you are like a joke like that, you're being irreverent, right? And the whole point is that you're saying I'm willing to make myself look like I'm pro rape, but
Yes,
then
but I'm
but
hoping
that
other
so
people will bite and want to talk about it. And nobody
you're
wanted to
also
talk
hoping
about it because they're
but
like, I don't want to talk to a rapist.
okay, but for that to be funny, there has to be a contingent of people who actually think that you're pro rape, or else it's not funny.
Yeah,
Like the
sure.
whole point.
But
The whole point
I
of the
was going
joke.
for like, well, just sorry, I was going for like 20% pro rape, not like 80% pro rape, and I flipped the 80-20 ratio in the wrong way.
Okay. Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, that can happen.
It's a delicate balance.
I don't blame other people. I like blame myself for not calculating correctly.
Yeah, well, I blame you too.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so anyway, I don't even know, like I said, I might not have said this to you, but after I read your post I was like, "Oh, like finally somebody's like taking some stances that aren't just like virtue signals kind of."
Yeah,
You know what I
okay, yeah.
mean?
So, well, I mean, my post is kind of virtue signaling, but I said that I've received a lot of death threats, probably more than most people who are talking about this, and I've received my fair share of sexual harassment. I'm I guess proud to say. And so I I think that there's like a dual narrative that men have about just the whole idea of like, oh, we were all having fun until women came along and started talking about their feelings. Men, and then, but then it's also like, oh, do men kill themselves? Men suffer more depression than anybody. Nobody has any idea how hard it is to be a man, the things we do, the things we sacrifice. And I think my view is that spaces without women or countries where women don't have equal rights suck. And men will sit around and say, "Oh, he's a cool dude to have a beer with. We're chill. He's my friend. We just hang out." And then the guy kills himself, and then it's just like, "Oh, I guess we never talked about anything." Women do talk about their feelings, and I understand that this can be like it can make it seem like they're ruining all the fun, but I think it's an important thing. And when you tell someone in a video game, you call someone a racial slur, the reason it's triggering is because you're saying the word that was said when like members of their family were hit with like rocks and bats or lynched or put in a gas chamber or killed by, you know, the oppressive military of their country or whatever. You're invoking violence. You're trying to dredge up trauma. And I really don't like this idea that I mean, kind of what I was jokingly making fun of you for saying she was asking for. I don't really think it. I don't have a problem with you saying that and then walking it back. But I do have a problem with this idea that I'm going to say the most upsetting possible fucking thing I can to this person. The only reason I'm saying it is because I know I have a chance at genuinely triggering this person, making them freak out. And then afterward, I say, oh, words don't hurt people. Of course they do. Of course, words hurt people. That's why people watch streams. That's why people go on Twitter. That's why when you get a notification that somebody tagged you in something, you have to go see what it is because they do hurt people. And they make people hurt themselves. And you can say, "Oh, well that's your responsibility." And it's just a very it's currently a very male perspective that is just doesn't reflect reality in my experience.
Um yeah, I don't think, how would I put this? I think when you unmute this person for the content, in my opinion, in a ranked game, it feels like, yeah, the guy was trying to say something. I'm not saying she shouldn't be hurt. I'm saying that
Yeah.
like you realize you're opening yourself up to being hurt, and you should probably be able to finish the game
Wait, you
despite what he's
deleted
gonna say.
Oh no, you deleted the tweet.
Yeah, I deleted the tweet.
Oh my
Couple
god.
couple complicating factors there. It was unfortunately directed at somebody who
Oh.
is a Twitch partner. And I don't want it to be possibly opened up for like off-platform harassment. I don't think it is, and again, I'm having like these conversations with people, but yeah, I deleted it on advice of counsel. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay. Uh yeah, so I think there's two conversations that we're having. One is about what specifically happened with her. Yeah, obviously she's fishing for I think we agree. She's fishing for content. She wants this guy to be an asshole. She wants to prove that guys are assholes in video games. The guy is an asshole, but he's more than just an asshole. He says something kind of creepy and triggering. and because she obviously has been raped. No, I'm just kidding. But for some reason, it triggers her, or maybe it's just triggering to know somebody wants to trigger you, whatever. So she freaks out, and then that's its own thing. But I'm I'm also interested in just the vicious response she got, which is not just about what happened with her, but about what she's saying. And what she's saying is that harassment in gaming, especially towards women, is a huge problem. And there's like hundreds of guys in the replies saying it's not a problem. We're just, we're just joking around, and you don't understand because you're a woman, and just like leave our space, get the fuck out of here. And I, yeah, that just like doesn't resonate with me at all. I never have had the feeling of like, oh God, there's a woman in the lobby when I'm playing a game. And part of the reason is that women make spaces less toxic.
I can't say I've ever thought that, but I do sort of agree with the people who have an issue. Sorry, just to disagree a little bit. I do kind of agree with the people who want to make masculine spaces, like especially hyper masculine spaces, like very competitive video games, less masculine and like worrying about feelings. I don't know. It feels like there's something there where like I really enjoyed those spaces, and yeah, they're toxic, but like the idea that women should come in and change those spaces seems off-putting to me, especially when they're like not as invested.
But okay, even the idea of defining it as them coming in, like it's not like you're in a fucking nude yoga for gay and bisexual men support group and then a woman showed up. It's a fucking video game where presumably women are welcome to play. So why like it's also not like going to like a historically black college, but it's not like against the, it's not, video games aren't made for men. There's no way in which the space is like defined as a male space. It just happens to have more men in it.
Do you believe that it's like coincidental that competitive video games have more men in them?
You're saying women are genetically inferior at video games?
I'm not saying women are, although I probably do believe that, but I actually am not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I think personality-wise, women are less inclined to join hyper-competitive spaces across the board, and that's probably why we see women like not really competing in things like chess or video games, is because they just don't have, like, to be honest, it's basically like a suicidal drive that some men have to be good at something. Like the people who are really great at something like chess or like video games, if you're in like the top 0.01 percentile of video game players, you're probably unemployed.
Okay, so let me understand your argument here then. You're saying women don't have a drive to play video games, competitive video games. They want to play Candy Crush.
I'd say they are less likely to be obsessed with a video game. Yeah.
Okay. And they don't want to play Valorant.
No, sorry, they want to, sorry, just you know what? I'll let you go. Sorry.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Some of them do want to play Valorant though. So this could contradict what you're saying, that to the extent that women want to play, they do play, except I think what you're implying is they don't really want to play. They want to change it. They don't want to participate in the competitive game that exists. They somehow want to feminize it. They want to come in and put lipstick on it and ruin it. And one of the ways they ruin it is by saying, hey, you guys have to be nice.
Kinda. So I don't think women don't want to play. I think that women and men are looking for very different things when they play video games in the average case. So essentially, like in the average case, women are looking to have fun. And I think sometimes men are looking to, like, unironically, like, rape and destroy. Like, that is what men are looking to do in some cases with video games. I would say a lot of competitors are like this, where they are looking to, like, assert dominance over other people, right? And I don't think women go into video games with that mindset at all. I think it's almost completely non-existent in women in the way that it is in men. And that's why men will always be at the top of these competitive spaces, is because this is like their drive. They have like a personally obsessed drive to be better than other people. And I think for some reason, women tend not to develop that.
Okay.
That's
And you're saying because of that. Oh, also these are statistical averages, right? That
yes. There would
we've
be
all
women who would be like outside of this and work like
and
function
then there
perfectly
are
in this
sissy
environment.
boys who just want to play
Yep,
Mercy and heal their teammates and be
absolutely.
super helpful.
Yeah,
Okay, so do you
I don't think playing
so do you,
support is necessarily the same thing, but yeah, it's reasonable metaphor.
okay. Well,
Um
so do you think that now if this is just a statistical average, do you think that men who are sensitive like me,
sure.
who don't enjoy a toxic atmosphere and who don't have the death drive to destroy everything and everyone and rape everyone, do you think that they are ruining Valorant by playing? Are they invading the space, or are they grandfathered in because they have a dick, and the dick signifies a statistical likelihood that they are okay with the current culture, even if they're not?
No, I'd say they're ruining the space. Not ruining. It's just that like I think these games basically survived for a long time and became popular through a certain crowd, which is the destroy dominate crowd. And
Mhm.
now that culture's there. I'm not saying it like has to stay, but it seems like sometimes it feels like there are steps taken to get rid of it when it's like, you know what? I don't think that it's necessarily bad that people can play these feelings out in a virtual environment. And like I don't think it's necessarily bad that we have these kinds of environments that are hyper masculine and like these crazy dominant environments online. I don't necessarily think that's bad.
But I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just trying to figure out how you're defining it as women invading a male space if you're also saying that men are invading it if they're sensitive.
I don't know if I'm defining it as women invading a male space. It seems like that. Like that is what it looks like. But then you ask me like, oh, would the men be ruining it too if they were sensitive and like trying to
I
yeah, if
mean,
they were people who
I'm
weren't
literally on Twitter. I'm complaining about the exact same thing she is, right? I'm saying that
sure. So I would say that
what I'm saying is probably more critical of men than even what she said. I
yeah,
said that men need women in their spaces or they get depressed, don't talk about their feelings and kill themselves, or are toxic, rape each other, abuse each other. Basically, if you tell me, do you just I don't even know what it is, if it's a game, if it's a organization, a company, you tell me it's all male, and then you tell me there's an identical thing. You don't even know what you're signing up for, but there's an identical one that's 50% women. I'm going to choose the 50% women one every time. I don't even care across the board, whatever it is.
oh yeah, see I would say the exact opposite for competitive video games. But that's I
Okay.
and here's the thing: if you let's say
Yeah.
you could hypothetically split Valorant, you could mirror it, split the or no maybe just split the player base, not by skill or anything, just by like gender. And you have one group that's 50% male, 50% female. You have another
Yeah.
group same size that's 100% male. Which, if you had to pick five of the five best players from each of those groups, do you think the 50% men, 50% women group would beat the 100% men group in any maps, any games?
The men would win.
Well, I think it's not even the men. I would say probably, in my opinion, probably the 50% male, 50% female group. The best five players would be men, but it wouldn't matter that they're men. It's not the sex. It's not the their
Yeah,
sex they were born with that makes
isn't
them
this?
better.
But you can have matchmaking. I mean, skill-based matchmaking, right? I'm sure Valorant does. I never played it, but
Yeah,
I assume it does. Okay, so then, well, then what's the problem?
I think the drive, the competitive drive in that other environment is just going to drive people to be like more obsessive and better at the game overall.
So you're saying that women are ruining the space because even if they're not playing at the top echelon of players, just by being in the lower ranks, they're reducing the male drive to be the
They're
best
trying to change the
ever,
culture that leads to the best outcomes.
which is people calling each other racial slurs and saying they're going to rape each other.
Kind of. I don't necessarily think those people should be allowed to do that, but I'm saying that like overall
But
being
if
hypercritical
they're
of
not
this
allowed
and
to do
trying to
it,
make
but if they're
sure.
but we've seen for a decade or more with Call of Duty lobbies that if there aren't women there, they are allowed to do that. Like you men not
Yeah,
being allowed to.
sure.
I don't even get what you're saying now. You're saying you don't think men should. Why shouldn't they be allowed to do that? If you're saying that it's about brutality and hatred, then why can't they call each
I think
other
it's more about
slurs
like
and
dominance and being the best. But I think those end up displaying as like kind of similar things.
yeah, well, I hope so because that's like the argument you're making. I mean, the whole conversation started to be about a guy telling a woman he's going to rape her, and then
Yep.
you're
I'm not
saying
saying
that
that that's
women,
good, by the way. I'm still not saying that
but
that's
you
good.
are, but well, you kind of are, is my point. You're saying that he shouldn't say that, but it should be okay for him to say that because that's just like what happens when you get the competition boner. It's just so big and hard. Then you're going to say you're going to rape a woman, and that's that. And women coming in and complaining about it and being hurt by this, or sensitive men such as myself coming in and complaining about it, being hurt by it, speaking out against it, actually ruins the sport. So it feels like what you're really saying is that it's like fighting in hockey, where yeah, you're not supposed to do it, but actually you are.
I think it's
It's
a
against
part
the
of the
rules, but
culture, and it is yes against. That's a probably a
it's
pretty good analogy. It's against the
saying
rules,
yeah. Oh,
but
thank
it's
you.
not really
Saying it's
against
part of
the
the
rules.
culture. Okay,
But
but
it's
yes,
sorry. This isn't to. This isn't
but
to
you're
just
making
real
you're
quick. I'm
switching.
going to say
But
this
you're
isn't to
making wow,
explicitly defend rape threats.
just
Okay.
but you are explicitly defending rape threats. You're switching from a prescriptive they're bad to a descriptive well, but they're part of the culture, which excuses the prescriptive or evades it. So you get to say it's bad, but you know what are you going to do? And then when I say, well, what you could do is ban the people who do it, then you say, well, you're banning some of the best players. And then
Some of the best
and so
players, yes.
okay, but you have this like logic circle built so that on any point that I say like, hey, okay, so you are saying this, and you're like, well, and then you like slip to the next thing and say, well, but I'm not saying this. So you get to say that rape threats are bad, but the people who make rape threats are the best players, and the priority
I
for the
don't think they're the
community
best
should,
players. I think the culture enables the best players to be the best.
and the culture requires the acceptance of rape threats.
Their culture requires the acceptance that somebody is going
Okay,
to get
so I'm
upset.
sorry,
Hold on, just real quick. That somebody's going to get upset
bro.
and they're going to say
It
the
doesn't.
thing that they think will upset you most, which is,
Okay,
again,
I'm
your primary criticism that requires
no,
saying that
I'm
rape threats will happen. Then, yeah, they almost certainly will happen.
no. My primary criticism is that you are presenting this, and you're just adding more links to the chain, but it doesn't matter how many you add. That you're presenting this chain of statements that all lead to one another so that you can, I guess, safely say rape threats are bad. They're part of the culture. Women who complain about rape threats are invading and shouldn't be there in the first place, just the same way that they shouldn't cross the street and talk to a wildly flailing homeless person with a lubed up dildo in his hand. And then she bent over in front of him and said, gee, I hope nobody sticks that in my butt. And then he did, and
Yeah,
now she's complaining about it. And by complaining about it, through her very presence of being a target, she is ruining the sport just the same way a female hockey player who demands that she be allowed to play hockey picks a fight with a guy, gets punched in the face, and then says, oh, there shouldn't be fighting in hockey anymore.
yes. Oh, you almost have it. But the guy
Okay.
pulled his skate off and like cut her throat, okay? That's what
Okay.
happened. And now
Mhm.
everybody's going, whoa, 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 we can't have fighting in hockey anymore. And it's like, no, 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 no. We're not defending cutting her throat. We're defending fighting. So
But you're
he
not.
stepped over a line.
But you're not.
Yes.
No. This is
Wait, what's wrong with that
this is
analogy? That's what I'm trying to say.
because if you were going to make that analogy or to make that analogous, you would have to say that rape threats are bad, and you'd have to actually sincerely mean it. So you'd have to say that men shouldn't say that they're going to rape each other. You'd have to say men shouldn't use racial slurs. They shouldn't call each other the F slur. They shouldn't. Men shouldn't say anything to each other that they wouldn't say to a woman. Because male hockey players don't want to get their throats cut by a skate either. It's not allowed in any context. And if that actually happened, you wouldn't tweet she was asking for it. You would just treat it as a murder. You would. There wouldn't be
it would,
no. You
it
wouldn't.
would
There wouldn't be like
depend.
a.
It would depend on what
the,
happened.
No, you wouldn't have a vague double speak position about it. You would just be like,
listen, if
obviously you
she
can't slit people's throats in hockey.
going back to the hockey thing, if she kept slashing this guy, she kept chirping this guy over and over again, I wouldn't say it was okay that she got her throat cut, but I would say like, bro, what did like? Of course, you just went fucking nuts on this guy. This is a little further away from the analogy because I don't think she went that crazy.
You wouldn't do. No, this is not, the analogy is falling apart.
Nope, it's not.
Yes, it is, because in order to make the analogy, we already agreed at the outset of this conversation that while she did escalate a little bit, she didn't escalate nearly as much as he did.
Yes.
Okay, so if somebody got their throat cut in a hockey game, you wouldn't say, "Oh, you went crazy on this guy." You wouldn't say that. You would say they were behaving normally within the established norms of how hockey players should act, and then she got murdered. There would be no equivocation about whether or not you think it's okay to slit someone's throat in a hockey game. And that's what I'm saying. All this is equivocation, which is the same thing I was saying about your tweet, which now I actually am genuinely critical of. Because you start out with the mot, and then you retreat to the Bailey. And the mot is, rape threats are okay. Which I think you basically believe.
No.
And you're saying they're okay because it's a male environment with a bunch of guys jokingly threatening to rape each other. And when guys threaten to rape each other, they don't get triggered. They don't start crying. They don't have to quit the game.
I've never introduced that element here.
I'm not saying you did. I'm saying it's implied. The implication is that the behavior is bad. So, okay, the analogy is a homeless guy is swinging a knife around on the street, right? And nobody's around him. But what you're equating that to is you're saying that in a video game, if a guy's making rape threats, but there's no women around him, then nobody's really getting hurt. If people are calling each other slurs, but there's no black people around, you're just, saying the N-word, but there's no black people to hear it, then it's okay. You're not hurting anybody. But if a black person comes over and gets within range of the person flailing the knife around, then somebody gets cut. Or a woman, or a Jew, or a gay person, or whatever. But that you're saying that the homeless person thought that they were going to be alone on the street. And the men they assume, well, it's just going to be the bros. It's a male-dominated space. It's our space. And that is my problem with you defining it as a male space. You're saying rape threats are okay because there's no women around. And then if women are going to insert themselves in the situation, then they are knowingly, and in this case, purposely, exposing themselves to a situation that's going to hurt them so that they can either feminize or otherwise terraform the space to make it more comfortable for themselves, or so they can play victim.
Maybe.
And in that framing, which I do believe this is your argument. You're saying rape threats are okay. She just shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been there in the first place.
So I think I might have to. So the way I see it, I see it in a way more generic sense. Okay, the homeless person is actually someone who, when people are walking by, the knife, you can tell he has a knife. He has a knife. In fact, it's normal for homeless people to have a knife, but mostly the knife doesn't cut you. But that homeless person is they can mentally change how this knife works. And they're trying to figure out how to change the knife to cut you. And that is a part of the culture. And for women, it happens to be that they can change that knife into a or into a rape threat, and that will cut a lot more women. So I do think that is potentially a part of the culture.
No, you think that men, by playing the game, consent to this play, the shit talking, and that women can't. And that even when she tried to consent to the shit talking, she said, I'm going to do this for content, she actually couldn't consent. She does not have the emotional or psychological fortitude to understand what she's signing up for or to be able to withstand the harassment that she eventually receives.
I mean, I'm not saying that. That's objectively what happened, right?
It's a framing of what happened. It's not objective. No.
Okay. What is another framing of what happened? Because it seems like that's what happened to me. That yes, she saw somebody who was being toxic. She knew he was a misogynist, and then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna unmute and I'm gonna banter back and forth with this guy, and then eventually,
Yeah, I know.
the
I'm
most
saying that
misogynist thing happened.
I'm trying to say your position, so I know that this is what you think, but
Okay.
it is
What's
it is
the
just
other framing of it? What's your framing of it? Is what I'm curious about.
my framing of it. Uh, I have a few, I think, stark differences from you here.
Yeah.
One is, I don't agree that the presence of women in the game at all will reduce the drive of men to be the best.
I
I
agree with
don't.
that.
Okay, so I don't think it's. I think it's good for people to be good at video games. I don't think societally or worldwide we have a problem of like the best video game players need to be even better. I don't think there's like a. I mean, with AI soon, we won't really need people to be good at anything. So I don't have a huge like investment in like maximizing skill
Okay.
by keeping women or other pussy types of people out of gaming or competitive gaming. I think skill based matchmaking solves that. Um, I don't think toxicity is fun. I think for me personally, but I also think it makes people miserable. It makes people rage. It makes them punch holes in their walls.
Okay.
Makes them swat each other. And I don't in my mind I don't really see a connection between this and the fun of the game or the competition of the game. So what I see are men playing this game who use the anonymous interactions with strangers as a vector for unloading their hostility and rage that they carry with them through their lives. I, I see it as more
I agree
like
with that.
I
I
see it.
think
Uh,
that it's
okay,
like
so
a
I see it as like a.
catharsis.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a toxic dumping ground, but sure.
Well, I
Um,
think I think that is what catharsis is, isn't it? In like basically engaging in your toxic behavior in a small amount to like get the toxins out of your system. I think that's like what catharsis is.
mm,
Maybe I
catharsis has positive connotations
okay,
that like um
not strictly. Okay, I probably have the definition wrong.
well it usually it means you're casting off some burden, emotional burden you're carrying with you, but usually by doing something good. Not
Okay,
like it was really cathartic to like rape that woman in that alley yesterday. I hate my mother so much, and now I feel like I can forgive her now. I don't know. Like that's not. No one's gonna be like, "Oh, that sounds really cathartic. Good for you, dude."
all right.
So I think that, like a lot of things, there's the ostensible game that's being played, which is Valorant, and then there's another game, the real game that's being played, or maybe not the real game, but at least an underlying game,
Yes.
which people of color, sexual, gender and sexual minorities, and women have words that you can say to them that make them freak out. It's not just black people. Black people may have the most obvious one and the most triggering, but most people of any kind of minority have a thing that if you say it to them, like you call me the K slur, I don't know if I can say it on Kick. It's so similar to the word kick, but if you call me the
I
K,
think you can say it if you're using it in an analytical sense, which I believe you are. You're not calling anybody
okay,
the. So go
so
ahead.
if you call me a kike, you don't have to know anything about me other than I'm a Jew. I'm not even a real Jew. I'm not religious. My mother's not Jewish. I have no connection to Jewish people, but a bunch of people in my family died in the Holocaust. And when you call me a kike, I have to think about that. I have to. It's just a button in my brain that says, picture Nazis storming Poland and killing everybody. And not everybody has a word like that, especially not people can't always tell what your word is. So like if you're talking to me in a video game, you probably can't tell that you can just start throwing things out and eventually you'll guess, right? With a black person, you hear that smoke alarm beep and you know what word to use to trigger them.
The chirps, yeah.
So the chirps, yeah. So everybody's got a word. Not everybody. Minorities have these words that I think you're bringing in outside trauma into the game. It's not the trauma of losing the last match. It's not like, oh, you suck, or oh, you're a shitty teammate, or oh, you used like the cheap tactic that you're spamming or whatever. To me, it's outside the bounds of the game. And a good analogy is like, what are you allowed to say to somebody during a soccer game? Like, can you call your opponent a kike on the field in front of a ref? No.
Probably not in front of a ref.
No. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Are you allowed to whisper it? If enough people find out you did that, you'll probably get in trouble.
Yeah.
You'll probably lose your sponsors, probably get kicked off the team. Because
you know
people
why?
don't want to. Why?
I can't say why. Sorry.
I
was
think it
going
mattered.
to make a joke about the what's the
About
women's suffrage
Jews?
amendment?
Oh,
Sorry, it's
but
just like
whatever.
right. But
Whatever
I think that is a change in those spaces, which you can argue it's for the better. I just feel like
But
I really
point is that
enjoyed
in chess, can you call your opponent the N word during a chess
No,
match? Are you
but
even allowed to talk at all?
I think you're allowed to talk, but it's like
Okay.
I don't think you're allowed to trash talk.
Right, because it ruins the game. Because the game is supposed to be a game of skill, like you're saying. It's supposed to be about who's the best, and instead, it's about who is the best at making the other person. Also, you're trying to trigger the person partly because you're resentful about your life or sad or something, but also you're triggering them because you want them to play worse. Nobody,
Yep.
you're right, and that doesn't lead to the best players.
It leads to the best stories, without a doubt.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that like the whole structure of your argument is based on that somehow it's more pure to have and more skill based and leads to the cream of the crop players having their perfect playground to play in that's not ruined by sensitive people, when every competitive sport where you are not anonymous and where there are judges like nearby and they're not like 5 billion conversations to listen to at the same time to make sure people aren't breaking the rules, they all outlaw this shit because it ruins the game. So
I don't think they outlaw it because it ruins the game. I think they outlaw it because certain things you say don't fit within societal norms, and we've decided as a society that we're going to penalize anybody who violates those norms. I don't think it has anything to do with how it changes the game, because I actually think in a lot of cases, a lot of trash talk and the most ruthless kinds of trash talk make games better, make boxing matches better, make basketball games better, make football games better. Absolutely. I don't think it has anything to do with how it affects the sport.
Do you think they make the players better?
I think it can. I think anger can be a driver, both to improve the sport.
Question. On average, do you think whispering the N word into every basketball player's ear in the middle of a match makes them play better or worse?
It could absolutely make them play better.
I'm not asking you if it could. I'm asking you if you think it would. Do you think it would make every basketball player play better if they were enraged every time they were playing?
Not if they were enraged, but I think also if you allowed this to happen, it wouldn't really be enraging anymore, would it?
So
Is it
you
not
think
the
that we
fact that
haven't?
hold on?
We
Is it
haven't
not the
called.
fact
We
that these
haven't.
are
We haven't
taboo that
called
they
black
become
people.
enraging?
We haven't called black people the N-word enough times. They just haven't gotten used to it. But if we keep doing it, we just got to get through this final stretch of hurling slurs at minorities and women and rape threat. Women haven't been raped enough times, and they haven't been
I'm saying if this
threatened.
trash talk
They
became
haven't been
normal, wouldn't that just be like if you had slurs hurled
by
at you all the time?
definition,
Would it
can't
continue to
become
harm you?
normal. This is what I'm saying. It can't be. Yes, it can continue to harm you. Relentless psychological abuse does not start harming you less.
Hmm. I feel like it would.
Well, I don't see any evidence of that.
I'm trying to think of what a good example is.
A good example is women on Twitter saying, "I'm so fucking sick and tired of this. I can't tell you how many times I get sexually harassed. Every time I leave my fucking house, somebody says something from across the street, and it's a fucking nightmare. It makes me not want to go anywhere. I would rather meet a bear in the woods than I would literally rather deal with a bear than a man."
I understand that. I'm trying to think of like how it would play out at the hyper competitive sport levels.
Which is what you're saying doesn't make sense. You're saying that by your logic, if we reduce the amount of slurs that we say to women and people of color, then we'll actually be hurting them because we'll be imbuing these words with even more potency. So to protect them, we should allow chess players to call each other kikes. And then they'll be less mad.
I'm just telling you that if you had the same word hurled at you like multiple times, I absolutely believe that you would stop feeling like the same level of moral outrage at it.
The first time I got called a kike, I wasn't that mad. Because I was like, oh, this is just a crazy person.
Sure.
And the second time, I was like, oh, there are people in the world who actually hate Jewish people. I didn't really get that. I thought that was like a thing from my history book. I didn't understand that would... I'm not even really Jewish. What does that have to do with me? I guess I'm not really mad because it's not really me. Then the third time, I was like, well, maybe I am Jewish. Because this keeps happening. And then the fourth time, I'm like, okay, I see what it is now. You hate Jews, and the hatred of Jews is a conspiratorial, paranoid hatred. So there's nothing I can say or do to get out of it. You're going to dismiss me, and you're going to invoke the murder of my family to try to trigger me. And you're just going to keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this. It gets worse. It doesn't get better in my personal experience.
Okay. I mean, I can't discount your personal experience. I'm just trying to think of how things have worked like this for me, like certain insults in my life, and I feel like it's the opposite. See you later, Kiriko. I'm trying to think of how it's worked out in my life. I don't have like, I have like some of those slurs, but I've never had them really hurled at me. So,
okay, my point is that it just feels like you're avoiding answering.
Well, hold on. Just to be clear, I'm trying to be as charitable to your view as possible and trying to consider it very much. No. Hold on.
Saying you're charitable is not charitable. This is bullshit.
Sorry. I'm trying to. That's probably the wrong word. Not charitable. I'm trying to like take your view of it.
Do it. Don't say you're doing it. Just do it. You're not saying you're doing something in a conversation. Isn't doing it.
Listen, that makes you uncomfortable. Fine.
It doesn't make me uncomfortable. It's just dishonest.
Okay.
It's a maneuver.
You just tilted me, okay? I'm about to leave the game. I literally just forgot what I was about to say. Fuck you. Give me a second.
You were saying something about how you're respecting my opinion.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So, now this is all operating in a world where in sports, somebody trash talks you, and you can literally put tape over their mouth so that you never have to hear that again. Okay, that is the world we live in. I think that world is better for all of us. We're like,
you can't put tape over
where you can still have the competition if you want it, right? Or earplugs in, sure. Earplugs in. Agreed. Earplugs in.
That's pretty
earplugs
different.
in. Sure, I'm agreeing. Earplugs in. So you don't have to hear that. You don't have to be tilted by the trash talk anymore.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with racism? Just poke your eyes out and plug your ears.
But hold on, they're earplugs that only cut out one person. Pretty big
Okay, well,
difference.
what if there's 5 people?
So there might be 5 people. You mute those 5 people.
Okay,
Again, we all operate within society. Like I absolutely refuse to believe that every single game is like this level of toxicity.
we
It's just
operate
not.
we
It's just
operate in
not.
society where there's social accountability for things that you say. Imagine
Yes.
what it would be like to go to be a woman at a nightclub where everybody has to wear glasses that make it so you can't recognize anybody. So you can't see what anybody looks like. And you can never find out who was there. Would you go to that nightclub as a woman?
Possibly.
No.
I
The
totally.
first
Yeah.
fucking
No.
thing
No.
that
No.
you would
I
get
think this is
instantly
insane. You're
raped.
you're essentially arguing like for the bear in the woods, and that there isn't really intrinsic morality that people believe in and act within.
What? I'm just going off statistics. The best predictor of rape is opportunity.
Okay.
This is why people rape their stepchildren and
Yeah.
rape their
Sure.
siblings, rape their girlfriends,
Yep.
rape their boyfriends, right?
I don't disagree with you.
Okay, so if the best predictor of rape is opportunity, like I don't understand. What do you think? Did you see the portal? Like, I this is what happens if you give people the opportunity to be
The portal
violent
thing
or
wasn't anonymous at all.
It's anonymous in the sense that the people who are offended by what you're doing are on the other side of the world, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Okay. I mean, I feel like they
If
can
you
do something about it.
Okay, how long do you think you would live if you made a website where there's a gun aimed at your head and you're in the forest somewhere, and all somebody has to do to kill you is click kill? There's a button and it's
Not
hooked up
very
to the gun.
long, but if that's hooked up to the internet,
Yeah, it's hooked. Yes, the internet where people are anonymous. Exactly. How long do you think you would live if you stood
sure,
in the center, the town or city center of wherever you live,
not
with a
very
gun
long.
aimed? No, no. You stood in the center of it where you live, your community, with a gun, and said, "You have my permission to shoot me."
I
Nobody would do it.
believe if we could produce all of, I believe you could live for a while, for like a long time. I don't think
Exactly.
humanity's like that. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying if you.
I'm saying that
I'm sorry. I'm
being
saying
able to inflict damage on you anonymously is a great predictor of whether people are going to
no.
do it.
I thought you were saying with that hypothetical that it would be anonymous, that like you wouldn't know the identity of the person who
No,
shot
it's
you.
not. No, it's not anonymous.
Oh, sure, yeah, it would be longer. I'm not saying it doesn't increase the proclivity for bad behavior. It absolutely does. I just don't think it increases the proclivity for like like completely inhuman behavior to the degree that you're saying with the nightclub.
I think that the best predictor of rape is
Opportunity?
thinking opportunity. Meaning, I mean, you always have the opportunity. You could just tackle somebody in the grocery store and rape them. Opportunity meaning the possibility of getting away with it.
Sure. But then
The likelihood.
do you think that applies to all negative behaviors?
I don't know.
Like
My
you don't think
point
there's
is,
any you don't think there's like an ingrained, and I think this is probably cultural, like an ingrained desire not to rape.
an ingrained desire not to rape? No. I think there is an ingrained
Like you
desire
think
to
if
rape.
humanity fell apart, we wouldn't have people who would just decide not to rape. We wouldn't have like more people than would more people
Humanity,
or would
I
more
don't know
people
what
decide not to rape or to rape in a zombie apocalypse?
I don't know, but humanity can't fall apart because we're social creatures. We just break into smaller bands.
Okay.
And I think if I
So
remember my
interacting somebody with
evolutionary,
another band, but you've been
yeah,
raised in this society. You think you would just rape that woman if you had no connection to her and the opportunity?
that's what people tend to do. Yeah, you usually don't rape your neighbor.
Okay.
You rape
Well,
you rape the women of the enemy tribe after you steal all their
well, that's
shit.
what people used to do before the past like 80 years. I don't
They
know
still
that
do it.
I think this is less ingrained now in the West.
What do you think the Israelis are doing to Palestinian women if they get them cornered and nobody's watching?
I thought they're literally, if I'm not incorrect, they're literally graduate papers suggesting that it's a form of racism that there aren't more rapes by Israelis towards Palestinians.
Okay, sure, but that would imply that they want to rape them. I mean,
Hmm.
my point is that the opportunity presenting itself, as I said, is the best predictor of rape, and that we see, I think, in every single war there is rape because no one can stop you, and you have no connection to the people that you're going to rape. And it's not because you hate them that you're raping them. You're just raping them because they're women.
Yeah, that's a fundamental disagreement. But I like there's just it's kind of unprovable in my
It's not
opinion.
unprovable. So, I mean, are
You're
you
you're going for historical, and I'm saying that I believe like the current culture we're raised in has like fundamentally changed how people feel about that. Like I don't think I could do that, and I realize that's unprovable. You're gonna appeal to history, and I'm gonna say, well, no, we haven't had this culture for long enough to know.
okay? So
Um,
your argument is that men in the U.S. on average are less likely to rape a helpless woman than men from earlier time periods.
or just places that haven't progressed. Yeah,
Okay, uh, is the rate of rapes in the U.S. decreasing?
I would have to believe so, but the problem is that they've changed the definitions of rapes and sexual assaults, and we've also increased this awareness thing. It's one of those things where it's like mental illness is also spiked by like 700%. Is that because we actually recognize mental illness and are trying to like raise awareness about it, or is that because we are 707 times more mentally
Okay,
ill?
even if you're right that the and I don't even know if you are, but even if the likelihood of a man raping a helpless woman has decreased, it still is a billion times higher if there's no chance of him getting caught than it is if there is a chance of him getting caught, right?
I agree. I agree that it maybe not a billion, but like I agree that it's significantly higher.
Okay. So my point is that you are kind of glossing over the anonymity factor of these games as like just a kind of minor detail. And I'm saying men don't talk to women this way face to face. They talk to women this way from across the street when they're drunk or
I
on the internet.
don't believe it's a minor detail. I'm not sure how we got disconnected there. I do think it is significant. I think if you had your identity tied to all of these things, then you wouldn't talk this way.
But you think that would be bad.
I think it would change it in a way that I don't like, but I don't think it would be necessarily bad.
Okay, so I guess my point is that the um saying, okay, we're going to play a game where we try to achieve a goal. We have two teams of six and we all shoot each other. Like, okay. And also, uh, we're anonymous and we're going to be talking to each other over mics.
Mhm.
These two things are completely different, but they're paired together as though one is like kind of necessary to do the other. And that there, and also that there's not going to be any moderation or rules, unlike every other sport where it is feasible to moderate how people talk to each other. They do.
Except yeah, but then you need to add in the muting. But I'm guessing you're going to include that, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can give earplugs to a basketball player and say, oh, or special earplugs that only mute one person and say, like, we know you don't like how that guy's talking to you. Uh, I don't think that fixes the problem introduced by a slur.
Okay. I So I guess I probably just feel like you need to be able to tank the initial like insanity from somebody for about 5 seconds and mute them and then move on. You're saying that you think it's I don't know if I think it's unreasonable to have something like insane said to you and not
What
be
is
able
that?
to deal
What
with
is it?
that. I'm just trying to think of like how this works in my head. I don't think it's like
Okay.
totally crazy to say that, if you get called the K word, that you have to be able to, be okay and mute and still play normally and not be disturbed at all. I don't think I believe that. Um but I think probably like I would expect most people to be able to withstand most insanity, and usually it ramps in a way that's fairly
But why?
predictable.
But why? But why? What's the point? I
What's the
mean,
point?
it's like what it comes down to is like if you had a button that made it so that um, rape threats like the one this guy made would result in a suspension from the game or a ban, you wouldn't push it.
I would. I do think the guy should be banned or suspended. I do, like I said, I think it's like a suspension in hockey. It's like you can fight, but if
Do you think he should
you
be banned? You think he should be suspended
permanently,
if he said the same thing to a woman? I mean, sorry, if he said the same thing to a man, do you think he should be banned?
hmm, that is that is different. But I think that's just like some that is different to me, and I think it's
Yeah. So the
probably
answer is
wrong
no.
that it's different. No, but sorry, this isn't the way I think women are like worse. I think women are just generally worse with all trash talk, but I don't think this is like the same thing. How can I explain this? I think the like you said the specific like way to find that knife that actually cuts people. I think I think women are worse at dealing with that, but I think everybody's bad when they get like the knife to the heart. So I think those specific knives, like those, that's a kind of behavior, and looking for that is like a little more unhinged than just like trash talking, throwing out slurs or whatever, and not really like I think there was something more insidious about the way he says he doesn't just say I want to rape you. He says like have you ever been raped before? There's
Hmm.
something like slightly more insidious about that, in my opinion. Like he's trying to trigger some kind of thing, right?
But you're saying that's the whole point. I mean, he's trying to trigger her too much. So if he just said, "I'm gonna rape you, bitch,"
Like
then it
almost
would
that would
be
be less bad. I'm just trying to think. There's like it seems like there's a line to me that it is hockey's such a great metaphor for this, where it's like yeah, fighting's okay, but then yeah, if you hit somebody with your stick in a certain way, you cross check them in the head, like that's bad. Even though it's like only a degree up from fighting, that's like a couple game suspension. And then like yeah, if you
okay.
actually
So you
like
think
two
he
handed
should?
hit
Do you
somebody
think?
in the head,
All right. So how long do you
permanent.
think he should
Go
be
ahead.
banned for?
Um, I don't know, like a month to permanent potentially. It seems like he's a repeat offender. I'd probably say for him permanent. There's other people who have come out with the same guy on clips where he's saying insane shit.
Let's say, but just based on this one incident.
Based on this one incident, I wouldn't say permanent. Probably like 30 days. But again, this also we basically are working in a perfect world kind of where you could enforce this. I think there's issues with enforcement that also make it like
It's
kind of
not.
a
It's
more
gonna happen.
difficult.
Those issues are gonna be solved very soon. You saw the GPT 4.0 demo, right?
I didn't. I saw you made a post about it. I haven't seen it yet. I should go look at it.
Okay. I mean, it can. It's a model trained on sound, so it can understand you and speak to you in real time. So like, you can hook one of those up to every game, or you could do transcripts and feed whatever. There will be a way to have probably your PlayStation 6 running an LLM locally that knows everything you say and kicks you from the game.
Creates like a signature for you so you can log into your account to play
It could
games
probably
or
it'll
buy
probably get to the point
games.
where it'll probably get to the point where it won't even transmit what you said.
Yeah, sure. Um,
So I don't think we have to do the perfect world thing. I think we're nearly there.
maybe there. I feel like people might overestimate how effective that is or how scalable it is. I don't know that it'll be scalable to like video games very soon.
Okay.
But in any case,
I play
so let's
I
just
play
assume that enforcement
I play
works.
Smash. I play a lot of Smash.
All right.
Um, we got something to say about that?
Bro, you've definitely heard every Melee player pedophile joke that's ever happened. So
I don't play Melee. I'm an Ephebephile, so I play Ultimate.
okay, sorry, that's the
Or
one that the pedophiles are in. But a phoebophile, sure, yeah, it's
or
fine.
Hebephile. What's the one? No, I don't
With
know.
the
I actually don't. I
pubescent
actually don't. I don't
teenagers,
know which one is which. I should. I really should
the
know this.
the phobophiles, like the older prepubescent
Yeah.
kids, is pedophile. Yeah.
Well, I know that. I know. I know. That's the only
Oh,
one I
okay.
know.
Oh,
That's
you're
all I
saying
know.
hebephile versus a phebo? I don't know. I actually don't
Yeah.
know the difference between those two either.
Only a weirdo would know those. Okay.
Yeah.
So I play Smash, and there's no voice chat, but there are a couple. There are still a couple of problems. You can teabag. There's no way to stop people from doing that, obviously. People do this thing where they wiggle their joystick back and forth really fast. It's really fucking annoying.
Okay.
And then people will beat you, and then like have a pre-written message that you can send that's like good job.
Yeah, yeah. That like trash talk
And
probably will always exist no matter how disabled it gets. Like even when
yeah,
you have no way to communicate, there's a way to communicate.
there's always a way to trash talk.
Yep.
And so this I should I should disclose this that I I actually think I don't understand it. So for me, when you're weighing like, oh, the good of trash talk and the competition against, how it hurts people, I never trash talk anyone. I never teabag. I never want to. I literally don't understand it. I don't understand going from a perfectly good, like sportsman-like game where people are being friendly and playing friendly, or not playing friendly, but like playing competitively, to being like, I want to, now that I've beaten you. Okay, also people will play like, they'll play as though they're very like civil, and then when they beat you as you're dying, then they'll start teabagging and then they'll leave.
Yeah.
I I literally don't understand it. I actually can't comprehend what is going through your mind to be like, I just want to upset this person and for no reason, and just know that I upset them. I'm not even gonna I'm not even to like make them play worse, not to be like, oh, now there's more like at stake because you're pissed at me. I'm just gonna do that and then leave. I actually cannot comprehend that, but it just seems like pathetic.
I mean, I guess I I understand it. I wonder if it is the dissatisfaction with life thing. Um, I feel like I was kind of a loser when I was in university, and I used to drop my rank intentionally in StarCraft so I could play like silver players and then just make fun of them instead of actually really playing the game. It's pretty sick actually when you think about it. And then once I like got a job and got a life and figured some shit out, it just like that stopped appealing to me. So it's probably some dissatisfaction with life thing.
Okay, tell me about that. Okay, so you didn't have a job. How old were
Well, I was
you
in
when you were doing
university,
this?
like
Okay, so
22, 23.
in university, are you Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay, you're using weird words. Okay, so you're at school, you're 20, and then can you walk me through like the psychology of being like, I'm gonna drop my rank? Like what?
It was just fun to see people mad. I don't know why. Well, sorry, maybe I do know why. Hold on. I don't know. Sometimes it's just interesting to see people like get really reactive and angry. I don't know. Yeah, it's
It
just
would
like
make you.
trolling.
It would
It
make you
is
feel. It would make
actual
you.
trolling. But you know what was the best though was when you ran into somebody else who was also smurfing and you had like an amazing match with them. Sorry, it was funny. It was interesting. Yeah, I think it comes back to like the dominance thing, and I wonder if it's like you're
Oh, it
not
made you
having a
feel
lot of
like
success in like your
powerful.
personal life. Yeah, yeah, like it's just like you're just destroying this other person. I didn't do the same thing in Dota, but I used to play mid in Dota, and it's like the same thing, like trying to assert dominance over the other person, I guess. And then yeah, I'd say probably once I like finished university, got a job, and like kind of got my shit together, the appeal of that just all started to go away.
Did you reflect on that behavior, or like were you?
Yeah, a little bit. It was like, oh, that was psychopathic. I remember I had friends in university who wanted to play with me, and I was like,
Yeah,
no, this is I'm not showing you what I'm like when I play these games. It's not. We won't be friends anymore. Were you an Invoker
because
player? I was a Tinker player. Sorry, answering a
because
chat.
they'll see that you're the psychopathic side of you.
Yeah, basically. So it's like you're very. I was very aware of like that it was like not good, like not a healthy thing, but it was like whatever. But then I don't know. Once you start, I feel like it's just yeah. Once you start to like work hard at something, you see other people like working hard at something. You see other people's time is valuable. I don't know. Just sort of the drive to do that completely evaporated
Because you felt like you're wasting people's time.
because wasting other people's time, and it was just like it wasn't moving me in a positive direction at all. Like it was like fun and funny, but it was like yeah, I don't know. It'd be the same as like smoking weed and just watching a movie. It's like that's just not. It's not a good use of your time. The funny thing was when I got older, I ended up going back and playing Dota and climbing back up to like the near the top ranks again, and
Yeah.
in a completely non-toxic way, like the complete opposite way, like playing support, being very like calm in chat, and just like yeah, just like guys, we can do it. We're gonna get this, and people will be like, kill yourself, and I'm like, I understand you're mad, but you know I'm coming to gank mid, so get ready to vanish. Good times. It was all super fun.
Are you still a psychopath?
Um, no, I'd say I'm much more like emotional. I'd say at least like in this like realm, I'm probably more emotionally considerate than almost anybody I interact with. I feel like I'm more emotionally considerate than most of the people I interact with, which makes the he was asking for a tweet. That's just that there's a couple people in my life who are like, bro, why do you act normal and then you do shit like this?
What's your answer?
It's funny, and also I just think I don't know. It's funny. But I feel like I'm not trying to cause harm there. And then as soon as I realize I'm causing harm, I'm like, oh, hold on, I'll delete that. Probably, if I had to guess, like I'm reflecting. I haven't reflected on it very much. It's something like, yeah, it's the miscalculation. It's like I expect. It's probably because I have good relationships with a lot of the women I talk to often, and they would give me the charity of being like, okay, I'll actually listen to you. And then I put the message out, and it's like, oh, when women aren't giving me that, I call it charity, whatever it is, benefit of the doubt. Oh, they're just calling me a rapist now. Oh, whoops, my bad. I'll pull back. That's not what I'm going for. Not the vibes.
Your position in our disagreement about this is definitely the more psychopathic position, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I'm saying I think that people should be
No, I
protected
agree with
from.
you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was agreeing
Yeah,
with
I'm
you.
saying that I think people should be protected from the psychopathic behavior of strangers, and that the amount of damage you can do in 5 seconds before you hit the mute button is not worth it. I you know, as I'm sure we're both very pro free speech, but not in not in games. I'm not really.
Okay. Um, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like I'm not sure that this has a tremendous societal effect either way. But I still like I and again, it might just be because of how I used to play games and how I really enjoyed that time. And I look back on it like I can identify that the behavior was psychotic, but like I still remember having a ton of fun. And like I don't think back on those things as like But maybe it is psychotic where I'm like not thinking back on like, oh, did I actually, really disturb somebody? Yeah. I haven't thought about it that much. I I just think it's like, I don't know, the culture just felt like something that was special and unique, and maybe I'm just looking at it with rose tinted glasses. Possibly.
Well, it looks like you're looking at it through a slightly conflicted lens because you're saying, I mean, like you're calling it your own behavior psychopathic, but you're also like reminiscing about the good old days.
Yeah. I mean, I'm calling it borderline psychopathic, which is probably kind of a poor hedge. 1 second, I have my headphones dying here. You're alone for like 2 minutes. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
I'll
More
talk
like
to
30
chat.
seconds.
Shaylin can't block, ignore, or mute her man screaming at her. The old,
Okay, I'm back.
I see, the old false equivalency. You can't control how other people act, and constantly being a victim is worse than ignoring shit that doesn't matter. Hello, Max. Hello, Cam. Okay, so you guys are saying that it's infantilizing, it's treating people like children to moderate anything, to moderate game chats. Well, first of all, a lot of people in the chat actually literally are children. Like, right, Valorant doesn't have like an age cutoff, so there could be an 11-year-old girl, just to pick a random age, in the game who hears him saying that, right? He's not just saying that to one woman, he's potentially saying it to a lot of women and literal children. So, yeah, if there's going to be children allowed to play the game, then we should probably treat the people playing it like children. I think that's fine.
All right. I Yeah. I don't know.
But my main objection to your position is the sexism. The definition of games as male spaces,
Yeah,
and
I
the
I do
framing of
feel
women as invaders.
hmm, I don't think it's
And
games. I think it's the competitive games where there is the trash talk element and there are like things other than the games
but
going
you're
on.
like exactly what I'm talking about. My
Yeah.
post was about men who are not in touch with their feelings, who inflict damage on
Do I
themselves
seem
and
like
each
I'm not in
others.
touch with my feelings?
Yes,
Okay.
who, at least in your story for sure,
Yeah. In the story,
who
I
inflict.
agree.
Yes, you currently seem like you're not in touch with your feelings, if that's what you're asking me.
Yeah, that was what I was asking.
Yes, that is my impression. Men who inflict and incur damage, and then when people start talking about feelings, like women, are like, you're ruining everything. Let us torture each other in peace. And I don't. I mean, maybe the debate's over, but I just don't buy your explanation that it somehow makes the game better or more competitive. I think enraging or triggering basketball players before they play basketball will make them play worse. I think it just detracts from the game itself. It's an entire other thing layered on top of the game. If your 11-year-old little cousin says, "Hey, I started playing Call of Duty," the first thing you're going to think of is not about the game. You're going to think about the men that she's going to talk to
I
and how you
wonder,
want to protect her from that.
how do you think it would go? I'm curious because I actually don't know. It's an interesting thought experiment. If you could
Okay.
opt into either, if Call of Duty came with two multiplayers, one where you can put your driver's license in, you do like KYC, and they
Yeah.
know who you are, and another one where you're allowed to be anonymous. Which one do you think would be more popular?
The anonymous one.
I don't know.
But for women, the women would all be in the non-anonymous one.
And but I wonder if that would drive men to put their driver's license in, and then how that would change things.
Because they want to play with women.
I think, well, Yeah, I think men probably want to just hear a woman's voice. I think that's like that would drive a lot of people over. Huh. Women would self docs. I mean, it would be to a KYC service, like a know your customer service that wouldn't be like necessarily attached to the game. The anonymous one would turn it into a cesspool, but I would say you'd still manage it as if it were like a current game, right? You'd still try to cut those things down. If someone's just spamming slurs, you try to get them banned and like shift it out. But it would be like a different kind, just a different standard.
Women stay muted for a reason in a lot of online spaces. Yeah, because of this shit. I'm a white knight when I play games. If there's a woman in the lobby, I don't really talk to strangers in games anymore because because of the toxicity. I just like don't like it, and I play with my friends. But when I did play with strangers, when I first started getting into online gaming, I would like rush to just set an example of like just talking to her like she's a normal person, and like if you do that like aggressively, it makes the other people look weird if they start being like, give me a sandwich. Then you're like, no, you look stupid, you're like a fucking child. What are you, retarded?
Yeah,
And then
I agree with that strategy.
they tend to not do that. But man, I think it's just because I've been like a weirdo my whole life, and I'm always getting like excluded or exiled or whatever, called out, dogpiled. When I see it happening to somebody else, I hate it.
Yeah.
Max
Yeah,
just
I
sounds like a
understand.
pussy, honestly. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Spruce Willis, chill, man, chill. Uh, I sent you a DM. Do you want to check it out real quick?
Me?
Yeah,
It's a racial slur.
it is. I'm trying to
Yeah, yeah.
tilt you in
No,
the
let's.
game.
I should go. I gotta go have dinner with my dead girlfriend pretty soon. But yeah, let's take a couple calls.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna move into this channel. I know at least one person wanted to hop in. Just give me a second. I'm gonna move us into a
Okay.
different channel.
Yeah, I've played. I'm not really a PC gamer. I like a big, meaty controller in my hands.
Oh man, you remember the original Xbox controller? Haha, that shit
Yeah, I
was the
do.
best.
The
That shit
Duke.
was the best.
Yeah.
I love that. Hold on, I gotta rejoin the channel. Just give me a second. I dragged myself in, and if I ever drag myself in, it's a problem. One
Okay.
second here. I got it so a couple people can join, but I
Okay.
know just one person had asked me if they could ask a question.
Okay.
Do you know Queeman?
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to ask a question potentially.
Okay. I'm a PS5 controller user on my PS5. I have an Xbox controller for my PC, but I don't really play PC games. I mostly just play Smash.
If you guys want to call in, if you want to try to call in here, you can join up in the waiting room because I don't know. I was thinking Queeman was going to join, then we'd see what else happened, but I don't know. Like I haven't talked to him in a little bit, so
Okay. I use a Pro controller for Smash.
what's a pro controller?
It's the $70 Nintendo Switch controller.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Discord.gg/Jstlk, guys. Nobody gonna hop in and ask questions? That's crazy.
No. They're
It
too
takes
scared.
so long. For some reason, my community, they like take like 30 minutes for me to say, like, if you guys want to call in, I'll take call-ins. They take like 30
Yeah.
minutes, and then as soon as one person calls in, there's like 12 people in the waiting room. I don't understand what causes this.
They get nervous.
I guess so. I used to do that sometimes if I was calling into streams. I'd have to take like 30 minutes to write down my thoughts.
Yeah.
Don't want to sound silly.
Are you
PC
excited for
Baberto.
Switch 2?
I'll break the ice. Hold on, let me mute your stream.
Nice.
All right, I'll break the ice. All right, hey, Mrgirl, who do you main in Smash Bros?
Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario? Oh, hell yeah. The best
Yeah.
Mario.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Do you like keep up with the competitive scene or you just like play for fun?
I play for fun, but I have a trainer,
Oh?
and he you know what? He's a good example of shit talking that I enjoy. We were playing, and I was throwing those pills at him, and he started talking about how they're those little dinosaur sponges that you put in water, and they turn into a dinosaur overnight.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Hell yeah. That was really my only question. I just want to break the ice for the other call-ins.
Oh, who do you mean?
Oh, me? I play Marth.
Nice.
Hell yeah, I love Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
Yup.
I've never played it.
It's
Not
really
that I
fun.
haven't played Dr. Mario either, to be honest. Hey, did you play did you play Mario Wonder?
No, I have not yet.
I just 100%ed it the other day. It's pretty magical.
Nice.
Is that
That
the
flower.
new mainline Mario game?
Yeah, it's a side scroller though.
Oh,
And
interesting.
there's a flower that just warms my heart. In the menu, his name is Talking Flower, and he really lives up to the name. It's really magical.
Hell yeah. Other than the podcast, have you been working on any like big projects or anything like that? Anything like major
Yeah.
coming up?
Yeah, I got a song. I don't know if you're familiar with the Blackface brand of my music.
The
but-
Blackface brand.
Yeah, so I make music, but I created this character named Blackface who's like a black version of me.
Oh.
And I made a song called Shake Your Pussy Flaps.
Oh.
And then I made a song called It's Hard to Be Black.
Real.
And now I think as of today, I think I'm done with it. I'm making a new song called Some of My Best Friends Are Black. And it's me and the black me. We each have a verse, and I think I might make a music video. So I live in Eugene, Oregon, and it's like this like hyper liberal bubble.
Yeah, it's super lefty over there. I've been there.
Yeah, which I didn't really realize. I've lived here for 4 years, but I didn't really realize this until like this year, where I got kicked out of a group of artists here. I got kicked out of a writing group. And then somebody was like, I want to be friends with you, and like was like I think secretly hanging out with me, but like not telling his girlfriend because like she would be mad. This is very weird. Okay, also in each of these situations, there's usually a man who really likes me and wants to be friends, and then there's like a woman who doesn't want him to, and then he's like torn because like I guess she's gonna think that he's like transphobic or sexist or racist or something. It's very, very, very weird. And it kind of reminds me of Amherst, where I'm from, Amherst, Massachusetts. So I'm trying to think of how to like announce my presence here because I feel like this city needs me. I think it needs me to kind of break up because a lot of people here feel the same way as these tortured closeted men. They're not as progressive as they are pretending to be. And so I think we all kind of have to put our chips on the table and all come out of the closet together. So I was thinking of filming this music video of Some of My Best Friends Are Black, kind of, around in the community and then try to show it to people. Or I was thinking of renting out a gallery and like hosting a screening of Shake Your Pussy Flaps and then being like, let's all discuss this. I don't know what to do.
That'd be really hype, actually. You should definitely. Yeah, that'd actually be really hype. That'd be raw.
Yeah.
I don't think Oregon's ready for you though, man. I don't know if they can handle Mrgirl like that.
They can handle it. They're gonna have to. That's
They
why.
are.
I mean, seriously, like people being like, oh, like I like your stuff, but like I think my friends like would stop talking to me if they found out I liked it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you guys are all pussies.
Yeah, that's crazy. Nah, I showed my girlfriend your shit and she loved it.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, and good for you. There's a lot of closeted fans of mine. A lot of people are like, I like your stuff, but I can't tell anybody. And I think I'm starting to think that when they say I can't tell anybody, they mean women.
Do you think it's like easier to tell like guys about your stuff than it is like women? I'm curious.
Yeah, probably. There's a lot of people think I hate women, I guess. So that's probably why.
But you don't hate women, right? Like you have a girlfriend and shit.
Well, a lot of people with girlfriends hate women, but I don't think of myself as well. I have a lot of negative feelings about women, but I don't think they're subhuman. I wish there was more of a differentiation between like misogyny and sexism. I think sexism is like you think women are beneath you, and misogyny is like you carry a lot of like pent up resentment or bad feelings or like trauma around women, which that's what I have. I have the second one. I don't think women are lesser people. I'm just kind of fucked up.
Would
I'm
you
a
say
woman and I like your songs. Thank you.
I know some women that
See?
like your songs too.
See,
Wait,
it's okay.
TC,
It's safe.
what's up?
Last question. Go. More people in the waiting room. Go for it.
More people? Oh, we broke the
breaking
ice. Nice.
Yeah.
You did
Thank you
it.
for
Mission
breaking the ice.
accomplished.
No, that was actually all my questions, my man. That was really hyped. I'm hyped for your project, man. Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, it should be out soon.
All right, man. Catch you later.
Sweet.
All right, catch you
See
later.
ya. I think Cam was the first person to join. It sounded like you know him. Is he someone you've talked to before? Cam the Jelly Man?
It rings a bell, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh,
know,
you just I think he was talking to you in chat and you were just interacting with
Yeah,
him.
I called him out in chat, but I think I have talked to him before, actually.
Okay. Cam, you're in. How's it going?
You guys,
Hey.
can you hear me? Am I coming through all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Never talked to Mrgirl or
But have I ever seen you in a chat before? Because
yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant. I recognize the name.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever called into any of these streams or anything. I've definitely like written down notes before, but yeah, thanks to TC or whatever his name was for giving me like 15 minutes to jot down some things. Mrgirl,
Yes.
Max, where have you been? Like the space is so much better with you in it. And I mean, I originally kind of found you through Destiny. I don't know, like 2 years ago.
I found myself through Destiny.
You know, I think we all see a little bit of ourselves in Destiny, for the better, for the worse, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, where have you been? Is this?
What do you mean? Where I
you
got banned. I stream once or twice a week on Kick and Twitter.
Bots on Rumble, right?
Yeah, on Rumble, and I have my site with my built-in chat with my dedicated core, the real G's who stick with me through it all, thick and thin. But man, when you get banned from YouTube, and you'll know what I'm talking about, it's you find out who's a fan of you and who's just a fan of the YouTube app. And most people just like the app, and they're just like, well, you know, I'll see if you get unbanned.
Yeah, like,
that is way more true than I expected it to be.
It's very, very, very upsetting.
I think I got lucky in that I had a lot of discovery through DGG because I've been a chatter there for a long time. So that's probably how most people knew me. So I was able to retain a lot of the community I had through there. But like,
do not write a 100,000 word report about Destiny because they will stop supporting you if you do that. I figured that out.
Probably. Okay.
Like
what I would say,
out of sight, out of mind, for sure.
Just real quick. I think I was getting like 500 concurrent viewers on YouTube, like, and it built up slowly over time. Like it went from like 50 to 100. Like I noticed week over week how we were growing, and I don't know that like more than 20% of them moved over onto my other shit. And I was just like, whoa, that's actually why I would seem wild to me that like only 20% of the people bothered to even like Google what happened.
It's brutal. It's so brutal. Okay, here's the worst thing. I got unbanned after a year for 3 weeks. And I posted a community note being like, is that what they call it? Or community post? I don't even remember what they're fucking called anymore. I made a community post on YouTube that was just like, hey, I'm back. And people were like, oh, oh yeah, they're like, yeah, like you. Oh yeah, it's like they won't even know that you got banned because the algorithm, you open the app and it just lights your face up with things to tap on, and they just tap on them and they just don't really think about you. But for me, so part of my excitement about Eugene is that I see myself as a public artist. This is what I want. I don't want to be like quarantined with my super fans who all agree with everything I say. That doesn't. I feel like I'm not to shit on them or anything. I understand that they like my content or they find me inspiring or whatever, or they just want to watch the slow motion train wreck, whatever. But to me, I'm interested in starting conversations like between different groups of people who don't all agree with each other. So like not having that public facing platform really sucks.
It's also like
Definitely
the
on.
only platform you can grow on. I feel like every other Discovery and
Right.
every other platform is dog shit. Like literally every
Yeah.
other one. Go ahead,
When
Cam.
I got banned from
Oh.
Patreon and I switched to Substack, and I think 10% of people switched over. It was brutal.
It is
Yeah,
rough.
I was gonna say with YouTube being gone for both you guys, it's definitely like you have to kind of seek it out a little bit more. You can get like notifications on Kick and stuff, or notifications for like Rumble uploads, or like checking Twitter every now and then.
Yeah.
But when you're off YouTube, it just like you guys said, the discoverability is just there's so much stuff. Like you kind of have to hunt it out when it's like off platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It sucks really bad. So two things, real quick, and then I'll hop off. Have you considered talking to Destiny again? It seems like there's like a stalemate kind of going on where, at least from like the outside, where it's like he's opened the door kind of with like the whole blacklist thing, and then I know that Dan's shown some interest on the podcast, but it's like maybe like neither of you guys are reaching out. I don't know anything that goes on behind the scenes, but have you considered like I guess like engaging with that side of the
Just before you
sphere
answer,
again?
Max.
Yeah.
No more Destiny questions, please, guys. But you can answer this one if you want, or do whatever you want. Go ahead.
No, I'm not considering that, and unless there's like a radical change in who he is or how he operates, which I really don't foresee. No, I wouldn't talk to him. But the fact that you're asking it, I think points to the idea that people don't really think I was like making a sincere criticism, or that I'm like, I don't want to work with somebody who's like this, or I don't want to make money off of a system that operates this way. I don't want to participate in the psychological abuse, or I don't want to participate in somebody that enables, or a system that enables and ignores sexual misconduct. But I really do sincerely feel that way. I mean, I guess I hope that some of what I've said here about in-game toxicity, I really am just like really sensitive. I think that the person in chat said it best before when they said that I'm a pussy, but I'm a principled pussy. Maybe, to you fucking sociopaths, that's the same thing. But the short answer is no.
Can I,
All right.
real
Yeah.
quick, just before Cam cuts in, he's got one last question. Actually, hold on. You know what, Cam? You go for your last question, and then I'll ask.
Yeah.
I got another question.
Oh, I was gonna say I think you've kind of been vindicated in some ways on that front. I think initially that wave of kind of hate was pretty massive. I see it kind of dying down a little bit over time.
I don't know.
My last question was
vindication, but
well, I don't know. The reason I asked was I really liked your guys' conversations, but last one was about AI, and like I know that it's been something that you've been really interested in. Is it because it kind of like enables or like kickstarts your creative process? Like you can do something like blackface,
Yeah,
and like kind
so-
of go down these different avenues.
yeah, I think that one thing, I get a lot of negative messages from like the world, other people about the content I want to make. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a writer. And I think part of the reason I always liked writing is that it's really hard to stop somebody from writing. And you also can just do it on your own. And there is a loneliness in making stuff by myself. I would like to collaborate with people more, I think, across the board on all my projects. But knowing that I don't have to, and being able to, so like for example, the Shake Your Pussy Flaps video, I had to learn how to use Unreal. I'd never used it before. I made a metahuman of myself. I animated it on Unreal. It took like 6 months, but AI was invaluable in just talking to ChatGPT. Like, I don't even know what questions I had to ask. Like, I literally had no idea what I was doing. And just knowing like there will be a little mini tutor that will just like talk me through the entire process, or like just being able to, because like there's stuff you can't Google, just being like, okay, I'm running into this problem. Is this solved? Like, is there an answer to this? Like, what is it called? What do I need to learn how to do? What do I need to like get? Or like, what plugins do I need? Whatever. And it's like having superpowers. And as it advances, I was thinking about this today of like, there's some part of me that's like, I should start a business, or I should start like a website and like try to make money, but I don't want to use it for that. I just want to use it to make art. And like, I don't know. So like, I keep thinking like, I want to make like a game or like a movie, like an entirely AI movie, or just leverage these tools to be able to like fill in for the people who won't work with me. There's people who want to work with me. Like I've gotten contacted by people who are like, I wish I could work with you, but I can't. Because it will reflect badly on me. So it just kind of lets me, or gives everybody more artistic freedom.
Yeah, lets you. I don't know, I guess I kind of play. Lets you play with yourself a little bit more. I guess I don't know, something like that.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it
well,
better myself.
I really appreciate the time, guys. Oh, Max just dropped off. Well, yeah, thanks, GSC. Jstlk.
Yeah, no problem. Have
See
a
you
good
guys.
one, Liam. Thank you for calling in. See ya. I think he accidentally dropped off, but I'm not totally sure. Yeah, okay.
Yo. What happened?
He was just saying bye. I don't know what happened there.
Oh,
Did
okay.
you
I didn't hear him say bye, but bye.
did you just get disconnected there, or?
I don't know. I just looked. I think my Discord might have crashed and restarted itself. I don't know.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I feel like
I was
that
just
can
like
happen.
not in the call, and then I just was. I didn't push anything. I don't know what happened.
Huh. All right. Crazy. We do another call. I kind of want to ask now. I don't particularly care about the Destiny topic. It just feels like mostly boring to me. Like I know most of the answers on this front, but something just in your answer.
Yeah.
So you didn't want to talk to him, but why did you want to talk to me? Because honestly, when I messaged you, I was like, there's a 99% chance he says no.
Oh, because you're a orbiter associate.
No, I thought that your opinion. So I want to say that I was watching one of your call-in shows, and that you probably said that I was just like a byproduct of that same system. I feel like I heard this, and maybe I'm hallucinating, but I thought it was some similar opinion where like you kind of considered me to be doing the same thing, and that you wouldn't want to work. And then I inferred that you wouldn't want to work with me for the same reason.
Oh,
You know, come talk to me on my stream.
Yeah, there's definitely some overlap, but I don't know. You haven't like crossed a line where I'm like, I think my opinion of Destiny is probably a lot lower than you realize, or maybe, I mean, I guess you would know because I've been pretty public about it. But no, I think that kind of commentary or reaction streaming content does have some like inherent problems. So I was probably talking about that. I think I was talking about something specific that you said or did. I don't remember. But I don't think of you.
Yeah, no, I feel like you've answered.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. You tell me when you don't want to take more callers. I was maybe gonna pull at least one more in, but then after that you just
Yeah,
you
sure.
want to got it. So we'll do one more and then
let's do it.
All right. Edge case, you're in, buddy.
Out of
How's it
all the
going?
callers to pick, you pick Edge Case.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
So yeah, I'm a prolific Mr. Girler, so I'm sure he recognizes my name. So I have a question to ask. I caught the discussion like midway through. So first thing I'm wondering about is when it comes to online toxicity in video games, are you, Mr. Girl, of the mindset that the toxicity is such a negative, such a drag, that it is preferable that games do not offer the possibility to be toxic, so they don't offer the possibility of
I mean, people are going to find a way to be toxic no matter what. So,
well, but specifically that though, specifically the ability to communicate with one another freely. Do you believe that the negatives brought by that outweigh
well, definitely. I mean,
positives?
as you know, for children, absolutely not. Like, I don't think minors should be communicating with adults freely and privately. I think it's a terrible mistake for these like major apps to facilitate this, and they shouldn't do that. But if you just mean like adults or like people the same age,
specifically with gaming, I guess gating children is hard. Yeah.
Wait, so we're saying with children?
Let's start with that. Yes. Yeah. So you're saying definitely with children, absolutely not if the game. But how do you? So you're saying unless you have some manner of age verification.
Yeah.
Because if a game is rated M, if it's rated
M. Do you remember?
M,
did you see my interview with that police lieutenant who was like specialized in internet crimes, sex crimes against children?
Yes.
You remember him saying that most child pornography is made by children who get talked into taking pictures and videos of themselves by adults like fucking 8-year-olds?
Yeah.
So no, don't connect fucking random adults to kids. If you were a pedophile, wouldn't you go straight to where you can talk to kids privately online and their parents are like, oh, they're playing that stupid game, I don't care what. No, fuck no. I don't think that we should connect strange adults with children, even if they're playing a super fun game. No.
So that almost necessitates that you would be of the opinion that it should be disabled blanketly, because most people, I imagine, I don't know the demographics, I don't know any statistics, but I imagine most people who play games are still kids, I would imagine. No matter what the game is, Grand Theft Auto, Halo, fucking whatever, Call of Duty, I would imagine that still at least 40%, if not the majority, are children.
Yeah, it's not worth it. There's no. I mean, for me, if you ask me, like, oh, am I gonna give up like not being able to talk to my teammates so kids don't get molested? Like, yes, I would.
That's basically it, I guess. God, because that happens. So the opinion is, God, I feel like you could use that to say that so many things should be disallowed.
I basically think giving children cameras and access to and giving adults access to those children who all have cameras was a bad idea. And so, okay, I was born in 1985. So you got to remember, it's not like you're asking me like, do you think we should have cars or like running water? To me, I grew up without talking to strangers on the internet till I was 10. Then we got AOL. And then I started having the raunchiest cyber sex that anyone's ever had with what I presume were adults from like 10 to 13.
Jesus.
I come from
I never heard this story before. So, okay.
I didn't even know it was a story. I thought it was just normal. Yeah, I
had a similar experience. So
okay, so yeah, I'm like talking about, clitoris folds with like random dudes probably that are pretending to be girls because I didn't know any better.
16 FCA.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, I want to lick your pussy. And they're like, cool, tell me about your little dick. And I'm like, okay. Anyway.
You don't think that should be able to happen? Yeah. This is so where I'm.
I think honestly, I think in a chat room where like, yeah, that I don't think that should be able to happen because any one of those guys could have been like, and they could have been women. If a woman in one of those chat rooms was like, "What's your phone number?"
Right. We live in the same state. Let's, yeah.
I would have met up
can
with
happen.
her. I 100% would have met up with her. Yes.
I'm conflicted about it because I grew up playing Halo, right? So
Yeah.
from the age of like fucking 9, 10, probably, I was playing the original Halo before Xbox Live even existed. You
Me
could
too.
tunnel. You could
Yes.
tunnel through.
Yes.
Yeah, fucking Xbox Connect. You could
Yes.
tunnel through the
Yes.
LAN. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it was and that those are some of my fondest memories in terms of entertainment, in terms of and a huge component of that was the ability to meet people. And I never got molested. I never molested anyone. I didn't do
Right.
anything I did do some very toxic things that
Okay.
I regret, but
Good.
I still feel as though the ability to communicate with others while you're playing a game, even adults, I still feel, and I'm probably just biased because I have positive emotional experiences associated with it. And it's hard for me to prioritize the potential harm of others above
Women
all the
and
joy that I
children.
felt. But I feel like the
It's hard to-
overwhelmingly common case is going to be a positive experience. And so it just seems so severe to cut off the ability to communicate while playing a game.
I don't
It
think
just seems
that
so fundamental.
I don't think the experiences of black people and women are overwhelmingly positive in internet video games.
Yeah, it was pretty
an online game
bad.
chat. Yeah, I don't think that they're having an overwhelmingly positive experience. So I'm happy to restrict or sacrifice my own if it makes theirs better. But definitely with kids, like.
But why is it not preferable to simply give an opportunity to just turn off the feature if you want? The ability to just disable voice chat, disable chat if you don't want it.
Because it's just an endless onslaught of just depressing hate and rape.
And
I think that so I think that moderation would be good.
Yeah, the AI moderation is definitely coming. But I feel like these things are cultural pendulum swings, right?
I think any app that provides you the opportunity to connect with a child and video chat with them should monitor every communication. And like, if you want to talk to strangers on the internet, it should be through shit like Telegram or whatever, where you can't just like go on Instagram or Facebook or a game and, you know.
No, I think that is a totally fair compromise. If someone is abusive, if someone is trying to molest you and you're a kid, you should be able to easily report them, and there should be an easily traceable manner for that to be dealt with, so that you would be okay with that, you know, if that actually worked.
Yeah, I think the ID thing is a good idea.
Okay, I was just curious because I feel strongly about this subject because there was a tweet that gained popularity recently about Halo. One of the developers commented on how they disabled voice chat because of the toxicity. And it's just a bummer because you play the Last of Us. So Last of Us has proxy chat, right? If you're
it just
close,
has game. No, it's just team chat.
You can't hear the other. Only in the pre and post game lobbies.
Yes.
Okay. So imagine if you were playing Last of Us, if you were within 10 feet of your opponent, you could actually hear their microphone in a radial manner. So like it emulated the actual experience of being close to an enemy. Like there are emergent gameplay properties associated with that I value so highly. They were so fun in Halo, and it depresses me that
think of the children.
Yeah, think of the children. Yeah. Okay. That's all I had.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in, man.
Thank you.
All right. I've got one guy who kind of wanted to get one more in.
Okay.
Can we just super fast? Okay.
Hold
on. Jube, you got it.
Yo.
Fast.
How you doing, brother man?
Just kidding.
Yeah, I'll be quick because I know you got to go do dinner and shit like this with the
dead girl.
lady. Nice to meet you, brother. The dead one. Oh no.
Nice to meet you too.
It's like, let me get my volumes up or blast you to 200 so I can hear. All right, real quick. my idea or a solution would be that you segregate players that want an 18 plus mature, more vile environment versus family friendly, or like you were saying, kids, right? I'm super supportive of like, one, take away social media from them. They don't need that shit, and make it so they never show up on my fucking timeline. Make it so there's no reason why I'm ever going to see their comments. I don't give a fuck about their thoughts. They're retarded and 16. They're figuring it out, right? They're just they're in the tutorial part of life. So whatever, let them complete that and then join the rest of us. But
Yeah.
I kind of resent the idea of growing up your whole life hearing like, this is mature language, this is like rated R, this is for adults, and then you grow up and you start to use that language, but like, oh, don't be mature, bro, that's so fucking childish. It's like, bro, what are we doing? We're trying to bubble wrap society because adults can't handle this shit because they're super brittle. And I agree that the person who sorry, go for it.
Do you think it's bubble wrapping that they don't allow it in like a basketball game or like sports?
I don't know that in like professional sports they give a fuck if they like say vile things to each other. I actually don't know because I just don't watch sports. But I don't know that
I think
these
they do
men
say
give a
vile
fuck.
shit to each other, but I think there's a certain threshold past which, if you're saying like I'm gonna rape you, it probably would.
Be like, bro, that's a red card or some shit like this. Whatever it is, a penalty of some kind.
I don't watch sports either, but I assume this is the case.
I think also at this point in 2024, there's a cultural like conversation where people will complain about that type of thing, and then they'll like push them to make an apology, whatever it is. Like they're being held more accountable because people will go after their sponsors. So even if they don't give a fuck, people attack the bottom line and try to make them give a fuck, right? So,
right.
Anyway, let me try and see if I can get back on track and rush through this shit because, like I said, I don't want to steal your time. So my thought process,
there's too much infantilizing of people.
Yeah, because just that. Basically, it's like, come on, I'm 30, whatever the fuck years old. Like, I don't play competitive. I'm like you. I don't play competitive stuff anymore. I don't really want to be in those toxic chats. But to me, the more annoying thing was griefing, throwing the game, like making it so that we're all wasting our time. And I know my rank is fucked. I just lost all my fucking whatever SR from the last 4 wins. I'm just like, bro, you're a piece of shit. And they're like, no, it's fucking silver. It's basically quick play. I'm like, I'm trying to get out of silver, motherfucker. Stop throwing. Fuck you. You're the barrier in this match now. So, anyways, it's not the language. It's not some fleeting faceless person who's in a 30-minute match who I'm never going to see again. Or maybe see because I'm playing at 4 a.m. and there's low fucking players in the queue. But it's just, and again, you can mute them. I'm like, this guy sucks. I'll mute. Or I'll be the shitty player who's not in VC and you can't communicate. Like, let me know there was a guy behind me. It is what it is. It sucks. But again, it's that like hyper-aggressive masculine environment where people do want this emotional outlet for their frustration. That I agree with you. If someone's doing rape threats, they could be reported and justified to get banned. I say give them 30 days and then 3 strikes and you're out. Like you get a perma from that shit. And because like 30 days is enough if you really like the game to go, fuck, dude. Like I actually can't engage with the thing I want. Can't play with my buddies. This is bullshit. Okay, after this, I'll maybe chill. It's kind of like a thought process in a Discord. If the person actually wants to be around, they'll fucking kind of curtail their shit. And if they don't, they'll lose their account. And I understand with Valorant that it's an issue of it being a free-to-play game, so they could just make a new account. But you could, again, say like the 18-plus version, you guys are adults, you should have a fucking job. If you don't, go get one. And if you do, it's like 40 or 80 bucks or whatever, buy into competitive mode, right? And there's at least a credit card behind that, so there's kind of a name, but people don't want to put the real names, the real faces, because like companies get hacked. Sony, Nintendo, they've all gotten fucking hacked. And you might get doxxed, you might get some shit where your unserious banter gets tagged to your serious IRL shit. You get fired. You're like, bro, we were talking about Smash Bros. I've been playing since N64, and I forged lifelong bonds with like my best friends that I've kept for 15, 20 years, calling each other the F slur, shoulder to shoulder, running matches until whatever the fuck the sun comes up, right? And it's like, it's not.
It's different when it's your friend.
It is different. Right? It is, but I think that's the male culture that, again, I grew up from playing PC games too on Battle.net with Diablo 1, StarCraft, Warcraft. It was very like the most vile shit before I even understood what the shit was. And my parents had to be like, don't ever say that stuff in the house ever again. Like, fuck. And I understand that, as an adult, again, I don't use this kind of language. Like, I just don't go to that place. I'm not trying to sweat. I don't play competitive stuff. I'm not trying to be that vile or stressed out with people. But I don't hate it, and I, in the past, very much indulged and enjoyed it. I just feel like it's the kind of thing, specifically with the rape thing, that like very much affects women because of their lived experience. The difference, the double standard in their version of reality versus ours. If a man says that to another man, you don't you don't have the same emotional impact, right?
I don't
And
I don't know if that's true, because a lot of men have been molested.
have experienced that. That's
yeah,
true. That's true.
But they're gonna pretend they haven't been when you say it. They're gonna laugh.
Sure. Or even if they
be
just don't
quiet.
respond, and be upset in some way. No, I'm not disagreeing with that, because I know that. I mean, whatever. There's the assault rates and whatever sexual assault rates in prison and all this blah blah blah, all the things.
Yeah,
so,
but don't men get raped more than women? Don't they?
I think if you can add
If you include
prison to that,
the non-humans in prison, then yeah.
Well, no. I mean, it's confusing because with
The
women, like the
animals.
definition of rape has been expanded, but with it's very hard cut. You understand what it is in male on male rape. There's no like ambiguous like, did he take off the condom and then she felt regret, or like these things where the definition's been expanded. But I get what you're saying, and then it's going to be a larger percentage of males that are actually the ones playing it. So you could even say, hey, more men are affected by it. But I actually think that the threat of rape affecting women who aren't victims, like just the effect of the concept of rape, is such a larger like boogeyman to females than with men. I do think you still look over your shoulder, like I have my head on a swivel. I live in the city. I know someone could knock me out from behind, steal my phone, be like, this guy has enough on him to rob, and then just fucking book it. And I'm walking somewhere alone at 3 a.m. And I know plenty of other dudes who. Why I walk through like lit paths and I walk very fast. I know people and they've gotten mugged. They get their fucking phone, their wallet taken, and that is a more uniquely male experience. But so I feel like that's more our concern than like someone wanting to take our sexuality from us.
I know, but what if it's somebody somebody who got raped in prison, and you're like, I'm gonna rape you, dude?
Yeah, I think that guy could be triggered and his emotions are justified, but then that's the whole thing where like you have the tools to moderate yourself by just hitting the mute button. And also I think you should be able to report that person and go, hey, this guy said one of those things that's very fucked up, like a threat to kill, a threat to rape, and even slurs. I think you should be allowed to report a person for that. But I don't know that you should get permabans for slurs. I think rape or death threats deserve 30 days and then 3 strikes to a perma. So I think just those two are very uniquely
unless
threatening.
you're in a consenting toxic lobby.
Yes, although you could still have whatever, like some handful of like these are still beyond the line that we just don't want to have, because it's like we don't want to have this represented with our brand, and especially in competitive professional games. It's like this has to be, and of course at events that are sponsored by them, you obviously would have to at least speak family friendly, right? Because it's broadcasted outwards. I don't think you should baby-proof society for everyone because of the most fragile people. We have to run by the slowest speed limit and all these things. We have to generally run by the slowest person in each generalized group. But this is a thing that has existed for 30 years, which doesn't mean it shouldn't change. But with specific games like Valorant that have a massive enough player base, where I think they actually could divide it and then let basically people vote with their dollar and say, hey, do enough of you want to pay the $40 fee to have your toxic version of this game? Or does it turn out that everyone just goes to play the free one and you just giga moderate and make it like Twitch and Super Soy?
Max, you have some thoughts? I think that's very similar to the hypothetical I asked about.
Splitting them into 2 different leagues?
Yeah, so I asked, which do you think would be more popular between the two?
Yeah,
I
guess with the voting on the dollar, for sure. Oh, right, your hypothetical was the free, and then I'm adding the pricey, because you have to add a disincentivizer to make a new account.
He may be answering a question, or also might be.
He may have disconnected, or he's like, this motherfucker just yapped so much, and I'm supposed to respond to what part of it. Oh no, he did. He did disconnect. Whew. I was like, bro's letting me hang so hard.
Yeah, I'm guessing he.
Discord reset again.
Yeah, he says he's having internet issues. I don't know if he's trying
to
rejoin or not.
Yo, Max ran, I win. I'm just kidding.
I think
it is what it is.
I'm not
I
totally
appreciate you
sure what
letting
he's
me
gonna
pop
do,
in.
but I think he's gotta. Yeah, no problem.
He had to go do dinner and shit. I don't want to like even
He
make
said-
him come back and
Well, he said he's trying
Really
to come
bother.
back. Hang on.
right on. I'll chill. But if he's got to go and it's being a headache, like you could even whatever. I'll revisit the topic another time. But I appreciate him taking the extra time.
Yeah, I just let him know. I just let him know if it takes longer than like a couple minutes, just head out for dinner.
Yeah.
What was the
yeah.
question? I think Jube just said, "Do you think it'd be a good compromise to do the $40 version for the anonymous thing?"
And for
And
the
then-
adult, like mature version versus family friendly, yeah. Dividing the kids and or the people who want something that's like not toxic versus whatever adults / just males that want to rage at each other and call each other slurs for fun. Like the good old days.
Okay, I typed out your message to him. We'll see. I'm not sure if he's gonna come. He just said, "Okay, if it doesn't work, he'll take off." But
Oh, you typed the message of like him going to dinner if he's.
no, I typed
you know,
I
if
typed
it's
that
being a
message,
headache, or-
yes. But then I just typed your question as well.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. That was just from like chat. Oh, that was just reiterating basically what we had, I guess, already
Oh,
spoken
okay.
about.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, I think we really got to the rest of where I had for points with that. The rest was maybe just like a touch on the creative process of him doing everything by himself. But that's like going further than the topic at hand. Nothing Destiny related, obviously.
Yeah, no,
but-
that's fine.
Yeah. Truly, I would say maybe just let him go do his thing, but it's up to him if he's keen to come back. Obviously, don't want to bail just because of a disconnect.
He thinks
Or
that's
actually, because he was
probably-
going to reply to whatever.
He thinks like the extra accounts aren't going to be relevant because of AI. I'm not sure if that is true, but
right.
it could be.
Yeah, that's fair. That I know he mentioned AI earlier, and I think you mentioned that people think it's more feasible than it is. Yeah, the processing of it, and then actually getting that to, in real time process and be filtered.
Alright.
Or
On my phone.
oh
All
shit! Hey, welcome back. Sorry
Thanks.
to keep you, man. I don't want to keep you that long from the dinner table. Your shit's gonna get cold.
I have to make it. She's not making me dinner.
Yeah.
I told you she's
Goodness.
dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was rambling and yapping for a minute, and then you didn't get a chance to respond because the internet came for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Any
I
thoughts,
don't know
I
what
guess, on my.
it just sounds kind of convoluted, and I think that AI will solve it. But I think I'm not trying to say that like this is like a cultural problem or like a sexism problem that needs to be fixed. Like I guess on one hand I'm saying like I think like definitely kids should be protected, so that's a separate thing. But
Mhm.
in terms of like being protection from like slurs and stuff, like as far as it being a thing that like needs to be fixed, I think people should be banned, I guess, if they cross a certain threshold of toxicity. But I guess I'm more interested in it as like a cultural problem. Like, why do we want to dominate people online? Why are we so much meaner to people when we don't have to see them face to face? Why are we taking our unhappiness with our lives out on total strangers? Why do we do this in the form of being like hateful to women and minorities?
I would say that we have that same hate amongst both males and even if you're white, like non-minorities. It's just the culture of video games going back as far as like just having text chat where you never could know who was on the other side. The beginning with StarCraft 1, people were just vile. You just said the most horrendous shit. And I mean, yeah, there's an interesting conversation there about how you are removing all the humanity because there isn't a person in front of you. You would never speak to someone that you're 2 feet away from in this way unless you're driven to it.
I guess because when you're speaking to a minority or a woman, there's things you can say to them that you know are going to trigger them just because you know some experience they've had without knowing anything else about them that you usually don't know about just like a straight sounding white guy.
Yeah, and I think that this guy obviously heard the voice and saw, okay, I know exactly what buttons to press because I know what categories you fall into.
Right,
And his was from a
yeah,
malicious place. Versus like
Right.
people who are doing combat sports and they're sparring or actually competing, it's like you are inflicting a lot of violence upon each other, but there's a sportsmanship and a kind of consenting understanding to engage in this thing, which could actually give you brain damage and fuck you up permanently. You know, fucking peg leg Conor McGregor at the end of that fight, like you kind of signed up for it, even though you didn't want it to go that far. It's just that can happen, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
and
it's-
I think this kind of like hateful shit should be defined as something that people are not signing up for. I guess that's like the
yeah, the line
central
has to be.
disagreement that we were having earlier.
Well, yeah, I think that's actually just the line in the sand where maybe we agree, but that toxicity might be okay, but these hate, like what gets falls into categories like hate speech, which are like race or whatever demographic specific things, slurs basically, and or threats. Like these are two categories of things that we generally don't accept in regular society. Although video games, I feel like, still have room to be more toxic than you would engage IRL without it being harmful, because you're so disconnected and they're, like I said, faceless and fleeting players, and it becomes like a virtual outlet, as like a punching bag would be, because everyone knows to not take things personally or seriously. But yeah, like if someone targets someone's sexuality or their whatever, their gender, their race, all that type
I
of
don't know.
stuff. I see what
the
you're
idea,
saying.
the idea of hearing some guy being like, "Have you ever been raped?" to some woman,
yeah.
and her being like, "Oh, like I this happens all the time. I'm used to it." That sounds depressing as hell.
I mean, yeah, but I would have said the same thing if someone was reading my StarCraft chat. Yo, this guy said he's gonna rape and kill your family. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna tell him like good luck, have fun, and call him a bitch at the end of the game when I win. It's just, and it is a metaphor for domination and for owning someone that got brought up earlier. How it's this competitive feeling to dominate someone, and it's, you know, they say rape is not about sex; it's about whatever, taking power from
Rape
someone.
is
I was like,
about
oh, wait,
sex.
is this
Okay,
weird?
I feel like I need to make a video about this. Rape
Hey, I
is
agree
about
with you.
sex.
They're taking your
It's
sexual
about-
power away from you, right? But and the act and want the action or the experience, I guess, by force.
Yeah, I don't know.
Against your
Understand
will.
like the liberal thing, or we're gonna like try to desexualize rape. It's not possible.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with you on that personally.
In fact, I'll go
Actually-
so far as to say that not only is rape is about sex, sex is about rape. And with that,
Course
I
it
have
is.
to
Of
go.
course,
I have to
of
go.
course.
I gotta go have dinner with Shaylin.
Perfect. Man.
I
Nice to meet you. Have a
Gotta
good
hop out
night.
too. So, thanks for coming on, Max.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We will. Yeah, we'll see you around. Hopefully, we find another topic
All
to
right.
talk about in the future.
Sounds good.
See ya.
All right, later.